my case, for the development of the classroom diagnosis, I choose the group Transición 3.2, composed of 2 girls and a boy between 4 and 5 years old. Referring to the development in the first language, it is important to emphasize that the students can communicate and explain their ideas and thoughts with the teacher and classmates. They can express or describe what they made, and also they can explain what happens in the class session, and they can answer simple questions such as why, what, and more. They propose and explain activities that call their attention, and they tell live situations and ask about what they want, see, and feel. On the other hand, it was observed that one of the girls presents some difficulties with the pronunciation of some specific letters, such as R and S. In terms of cognitive development, it is important to emphasize that the group can make relations of what they learn in the class with situations or objects of their close environment. With materials, they can build stories to play. Also, they can classify objects taking into account their shape, color, size, among others. They can identify spaces and spatial relation on a sheet of paper, respecting the different size proportions. Also, they can identify and use spatial address like left, right, up, and down in both physical and virtual way. And finally, they can identify the use of objects for everyday use. As a consequence of the virtual context, physical development cannot be observed in a broad way. However, it was observed that the students can make simple exercises such as jump and turn, and show good body balance. In activities that require fine motor skills, students can make drawings by properly manipulation of the necessary objects. There is evidence of coordination in the body movements of students, like raising arms, clapping movements with fingers, among others, and they can follow sequences of movements alternating arms, legs, head, and others. Taking into account the virtual context in which students are involved, social development cannot be observed broadly, as it is not very evident in the classes and in the dynamics that occur within them. However, some aspects that could be observed in these dimensions are the following. They are actively involved in the proposed activities. Also, they know the name of the teacher and his classmates. The students can share their ideas with the teacher, and however, it is not very common for students to communicate with each other. Also, they can recognize not only them in themselves but also in others the different emotions and can hypothesize why they feel this way. Also, they listen to the participation of their classmates and respect the dynamics of the class by taking the word and raise their hand. It can be said that the development of this group in second language is evidenced as follows. At general level, students understand the basic instructions during the development of the session. However, when it comes to the instructions they do not commonly receive, understanding English is difficult for most students, so the teacher resorts to using Spanish when children do not respond to an instruction or a question. Children remain active throughout the course of the session and answer basic questions of yes or no, color, size, big or small, among others. Additionally, they can produce simple level spoken English at the time of conversation. Students can identify and understand the vocabulary handled regularly and repetitively during the development of the class session. Among this vocabulary are emotions, climate, and personality. They use their previous vocabulary knowledge to answer questions or even participate in class with their opinions. Currently, I have a B2 level of English. Taking into account the 4 skills of English, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, it can be said that I have a satisfactory level in each of these. However, I present some difficulties and aspects to improve in terms of the use of verb, tenses when speaking, and the pronunciation of some unknown terms, which with the help of the oral translator I improve. I use the visual elements of the class as the tools of the Zoom platform to communicate in the most appropriate way and impart the contents in a clear way for the students. In my English second language didactics, in the case of Jardín and Transición, I carry out the teaching of the contents in constant English, going to Spanish when an instruction is given which the students don't understand and had already been previously explained in English. In the case of Prejardín, and taking into account the age of the students, I carry out the teaching of the contents in a majority in English, but going at the same time to Spanish. Throughout the development of a session at all the three levels, I use the presentation and repeat the vocabulary, the use of key movements when teaching a word or term, and images and flashcards. Additionally, educational videos are constantly used for grading, vocabulary teaching, and closing the class. To evaluate and verify the learning process of the students throughout the session, I ask simple questions of yes or no or exact answers, and I always look for the students to arrive at the answers by themselves.